When it comes to getting table reservations at Oktoberfest, the amount of misinformation out there is hilariously unhelpful. But don't worry, in this video, I'm breaking down the entire process for getting a table reservation for free. Why is this video being published in February? Well, that's exactly how early you need to get started if you want a reservation for this year. So listen up and get ready to take some notes. If you're new around here, this voice is Christina from happytowander.com. Munich local for the past 4 years and total Oktoberfest fangirl. For more insider tips just like this one, be sure to hit subscribe and like this video so I know you're excited. This video will cover the reservation process for all 16 large tents. So hang tight and stick till the end to hear about the easiest tents to reserve at. Now, here's your locals guide on how to get free reservations for Oktoberfest. Let's hit that cheesy intro. What's up, Smarties? Once again, it's Christina here from happytowander.com. This video is going to be pretty overwhelming with lots of information, so be sure to check the description box for a link to the written version of this guide, which includes important links, dates, and most importantly, updated tips for every year. Before we start, I have a postcard to give away. Every week I give away a postcard to someone who comments, so please let me know in the comments below which of these tents looks like the most fun. A huge congrats to Katie for winning last week's postcard. Now, let's get started with some basic rules of thumb before diving into the separate reservation process for every tent. First off, you need to know that Oktoberfest tent reservations are actually not mandatory. In fact, admission to the festival itself is free, and you don't need to pay a dime to get in. So why reserve then? Well, getting a full table can be tough as a walk-in, especially if you're a big group or visiting on a weekend or evening. Reserving gives you peace of mind and allows you to skip this crazy Hunger Games situation. But if you are visiting as a small group, don't mind getting split up, and most importantly, are visiting at an off-peak time like a weekday or morning, you will probably be fine just walking in and finding a table. Most tents save a portion of tables for walk-ins anyway, and it's not too tough to find somewhere to sit. That said, if this is your dream trip and you want to make 1,000,000% sure that you do get a table, reserving is highly recommended. Alternatively, if you don't mind spending a little bit of extra money, you can book a tour with a third-party operator that includes a table reservation with their tour package. This is usually quite expensive, but it does guarantee that you'll have a seat. So if that interests you, you can check out the description box for some companies that offer this service. Must know number 2, as previously mentioned, is that Oktoberfest reservations are made with individual tents, who all have their own systems. So don't expect to find any centralized place where you can easily book tables for different tents. It's a little bit annoying, but don't worry, we'll be covering the reservation process for each big tent later in this video. Must know number 3 is that reservations can only be made for a full table. At Oktoberfest, there is unfortunately no such thing as reserving just a seat for you and a friend. If you're committing to a reservation, you are committing to booking out the entire table, which is usually 8 to 10 people. More accurately though, what you're committing to is actually paying for enough food and drink to feed 8 to 10 people. If you are a party of 4, for example, but are happy to pay for 10 people's worth of food and drink vouchers, then you can, in theory, still reserve a table. This brings me to must know number 4, which is that reservations can be quite costly to make. As I mentioned, it doesn't actually cost anything to reserve a table at Oktoberfest, but once your reservation is confirmed, what you do need to pay upfront is a minimum consumption per person. So for a full table, this can easily add up to hundreds of euros. That's a lot of dough, but again, you do get all this money back in the form of vouchers, which you will spend on food and drinks. So the reservation itself is still free. Must know number 5 is to always only use the German versions of tent websites. Unsurprisingly, most Oktoberfest tents don't really bother to update their English sites as often as their German ones, so be sure to browse in German for the latest updates. I always browse in Google Chrome because it lets you easily translate pages to English. Lastly, must know number 6 is for Munich locals, or for those who have friends who are Munich locals. Many of the big tents actually offer something called a Munich contingent table, which are reserved only for people who can prove that they live in Munich. Generally, these are special tables available during peak times like weekends that locals can reserve for a small fee of 10 or 20 euros, depending on the tent. Tables are assigned on a first-come, first-served basis, and based on previous years, they are usually reserved by going in person to the tent's respective offices during a specific time. The best part? You don't actually need to pay for vouchers up front, only the reservation fee. So this is a lesser-known option for those of you with proof of residence, and details on this are usually released in the early summer. Alrighty, now let's get to the good stuff. As I mentioned earlier, every tent at Oktoberfest has its own separate system set up for reservations, which means every tent starts taking reservations at different times of the year and has a different system in place. Now, here are all the tents and their reservation information in alphabetical order. First, we have the Armbrustschützenzelt, Tent of the Crossbowmen. Lunchtime reservations open early in the year for this tent, and as of February are already available through an online form. Evening reservations usually open up in March. Again, for this year's exact dates, head to the written version of this guide, which I'll regularly update and link below. What's great about this tent is that their website has a color-coded chart that shows availability. This is great because you get some idea of what's available, and trust me, most of the tents don't do you this service, so make sure to check out this website if you're looking to book early, aka now. Number 2 is the Augustiner-Festhalle. This beloved local favorite is unfortunately a tent that you can't get reservations for. In fact, they've announced on their official website that they have so many repeat reservations every year that they aren't able to accept any new customers. So, you can keep an eye on their official website in case anything changes, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. That said, you're still able to walk into this tent on the day of, which I've done in the past and have always gotten a seat, so be sure to just get there early and give it a try. Number 3 is the Festzelt Tradition, one of my favorite tents in the Wies'n part of Oktoberfest. Yes, they have whipping boys. Reservations for this tent usually open up in April and can be made on their online form or during the summer at the famous Rathskeller restaurant in Marienplatz. Number 4 is Fischer Vroni, which is known for their fish-based menu. Reservations here are usually done by online form and are released in May. But their website tends to be very cryptic, so be sure to check back regularly for more info. Number 5 is the ever-popular Hacker Festzelt, one of the most popular and well-known tents, which releases reservations through an online form sometime in March or April. Note that due to its popularity, they don't take reservations for evening or weekend tables, but the decor in this tent is definitely worth checking out, reservation or not, so be sure to stop by. Number 6 is the Herzkaspertzelt. This is another small tent in the Wies'n and one that's so busy and popular they're actually not taking reservations until 2021. It is a pretty tent though, so if you're able to just walk in and soak in the atmosphere, be sure to do so. Number 7 is the Hofbräu Festzelt, hands down one of the most popular tents among foreign visitors. Reservations here are made by email only and usually open up sometime around the beginning of March. Number 8 is the Käfer's Wies'n-Schänke, one of the most exclusive tents at Oktoberfest, known for being the celebrity hangout. It's a cozy, intimate tent with gourmet food options, which you can sample yourself once lunchtime reservations open at the beginning of April. They take their reservations through an easy-to-use online form, but unfortunately don't do evening or weekend reservations. That's probably because they're too busy hosting people like the Clintons and Justin Bieber. Number 9 is the Kufflers Weinzelt, which is the only tent at the festival dedicated to wine instead of beer. They open reservations early here through an online form and are actually already open now in February. The process here is simple, you just fill out an online form and wait for an answer. Number 10 is the Löwenbräu-Festhalle. Like some of the other popular tents, reservations here can't be made for weekends or evenings, but lunchtime reservations on weekdays are pretty easy to book. All you need to do is wait for tables to open at the beginning of March and send them an email. Number 11 is the glitzy Marstall Festzelt, which opens its reservations in mid-March through an online form. Processing here takes a few weeks and payment requests are only sent in May, so expect a long wait. They do have Munich contingency tables saved for locals though, so give that a try if you can. Number 12 is the Ochsenbraterei, which opens its reservations in May. Reservations here are done by email, but what's important to note is they are one of the few tents that do last-minute reservations, which are generally released a day in advance. So keep an eye on their website if you want a last-minute booking once you arrive. Number 13 is the Paulaner Festzelt. This tent opens reservations in April through an online reservation system. This tent is honestly one of my personal favorites, with a giant rotating Paulaner beer on the inside and always a fun time. Number 14 is the Pschorr-Bräurosl, which opens reservations in January. They take requests by email and make it very straightforward with a downloadable template that has all the information that they require. Again, links to all this can be found by clicking the written guide down below. Number 15 is the Schottenhamel tent, which I would say has the most user-friendly reservation system. Table requests are already open and can be made on their reservations page, with an online system that gives you immediate confirmation, so no waiting game. Last but not least, number 16 is the Schützen-Festzelt, which opens early and, as of February, has already opened up requests through an online reservation system. This one is also really user-friendly, so be sure to check it out. Anyways, thanks for watching, Smarties. Once again, for the latest, most up-to-date info on Oktoberfest reservations, hit that link in the description for my written guide. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give me a like and subscribe for more helpful Europe tips like the ones in this video. And again, be sure to comment with your favorite tent for a chance to win a postcard. Until next week, bye!